Hey there. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah, happy of all of those, whatever you celebrate or
healing
don't
holidays,
celebrate.
as you said.
Yeah, healing. Because they're not always happy, but they can always be filled with healing.
Yeah, and if you are joining us back, thanks for being here for another episode of Lewwe Go There. And if it's your first one, thanks for being here.
Yeah, welcome, because today's really fun. We are going to talk about misfits, and because I couldn't memorize this and I just really needed the Oxford dictionary of what a misfit is, because I've known I'm a misfit forever. You know you're a misfit.
You don't need a definition.
You don't need a definition.
Know if you are one.
But if you want a definition,
here we go.
It is a person whose behavior or attitudes sets them apart from others, ready, in an uncomfortably conspicuous way.
Conspicuous.
And then I looked up conspicuous, yeah. So, I mean, that's when you're standing out. But what I think is so cool and interesting that I feel we'll dive into is when you are a misfit, you're not necessarily trying to stand out, right?
You just naturally do, right?
You just naturally do. And what's the flip side of that? That can be kind of scary. So sometimes us misfits tend to try to mask ourselves and, be a chameleon, so that way you're not standing out conspicuously.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we've all had those moments in our lives where we have felt that feeling that we don't necessarily belong, whether it be with family, with friends. And that's what we're going to dive into today. Like, what are the things that make us different from each other when we should not try to blend in with the crowd, and when you are meant to stand out instead of just fit in.
Yeah. I mean, I can take it from I've been a misfit since birth, because typically when you are an only child, you're a little weird. This is real, and I can say I'm very proud of my weirdness. I wasn't necessarily always.
Right.
I did fall into that trap of trying to kind of blend in, assimilate, fit in, which is honestly why being an actor is the greatest thing for me and why it's one of my purposes, because I feel like I've been acting my whole life, right? So not to say that I wasn't real. Obviously I'm stepping into the most aligned and authentic version of myself, but the times where I felt like I couldn't be my misfit self, it was out of safety. It's like you want to assimilate, you want to be a part of a team, you want to be all that, right?
Oh yeah, you want to fit in with the cool kids, or really it's just masking. If you find yourself pretending to be something that you're not, and you're not acting or you're not performing,
you gotta pay me if this is gonna happen.
Then my friends, you're not feeling safe, and that's a scary truth we may not always want to believe when we are masking, but it means that you don't feel safe and comfortable with the people that you're around. And if you're not safe, my dear, it's time to figure out why. So allow yourself to sit in that discomfort, right? That's what this whole Lewwe Go There podcast is about. You need to understand why you don't feel safe, why you don't feel comfortable, and if those people that you're around and you're masking, they really do love you, you should be able to be yourself.
You should be able to be your weirdo self. And that's the thing. I know for sure that I would, and then I would kind of feel the resistance, from family, from schoolmates, from teachers, from whoever. And that's why it's like kids are the coolest, because they're just themselves. They don't care. And I feel like at that point, the weirder you are, the cooler you actually are. And then at some point, there's the popular kids or whatever, they then determine no, what you're doing is not cool.
Can we take a minute to talk about the cool girls, specifically the cool kids, and specifically the cool girls?
Yeah.
Like, anyone who has experienced a narcissistic relationship in their life, I think a big part of being in that situation is because they're trying to be cool, right? Like, they're trying to convince you, this way of not putting label on things, that's cool. And you want to be the cool girl, so you're like, "Ah, okay, yeah, I don't care about labels either." Or you're with the mean girls and you are doing things that you necessarily don't think are nice. Like, those are signs that you're not supposed to be there, in those spaces.
Like, are we supposed to be here and get poured on? I mean, we
I don't-
might. It's just what it is, because it's been a journey to get here.
Ah,
But
I think it's too much.
it might be.
Ah.
We'll
Man.
be back from a word from our
Okay.
sponsor.
Being a misfit is hard when you don't have a safe and supportive space to be your true self. And that's why we created the Pull Point Fitness and Wellness Studio.
Yeah, and that's why right now you have 3 days left to get in on this amazing package for 222.
Yeah?
That literally gets you 5 different class passes. So everything that we offer here in studio, minus
Except
the
the
Pull
Pull
101,
101,
because that takes consistency.
Yeah, to see results.
But this is like a great taster. So you get Pilates, you get Qigong, you get breath work, you get flexibility, and you get just passing through.
And just breathe.
And yeah, I already said that,
You
but you
did?
always have
Ooh.
to breathe.
Yeah, we always have to breathe.
And you get a discovery call for life
Yes.
coaching as well. So, I mean, what are you waiting for? Just do it all. So, we're back.
Yeah, and to sum that up really quickly, being the cool girl, it harms you more than it helps you. You don't stay true to who you are, you lose your touch with your intuition, actually. And that's like the most dangerous thing you could do for yourself. You have your intuition for a reason. Your gut, that trust your gut instinct is the right instinct.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel that is a commonality that all misfits share when they're leaning into their full authentic power. And again, I can fully understand why that feels isolating. Again, I think I had a lot of practice being an only child, so it's like you already have that thing where if you don't have siblings and people that you're around all the time to do things with, you're then again by yourself, your own little club,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. And I remember feeling that as far back as preschool, where I would just be in my own little world that I created, having honestly a great time,
Yeah.
talking to my imaginary friends, and other human children would see, like my honestly like my joy, and like I was just like having a blast, and they just like couldn't understand because there were no other kids around. So then they would want to come over and play, and like that's great, but then kids really have that built-in discernment too, to know like who is kind of like safe and who is fun and who is that whole kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like we just lose that as we get older because of that fear of wanting to fit in,
of wanting to be adults, right? As kids too. We're like, when I grow up, I want to do this and that and whatever. And then we get put into these systems that basically oppress us from being our true selves. Like, I'm going to take it back to when I was in high school, and I went to a prestigious high school, and I always found it was weird. Like, I am not a fully black person, but for some reason, and maybe I just don't know of like other black girls' experience at the school, but for some reason, the art teacher would always pick at me for my hair. And it's like, I have no control over my hair. You're really gonna make me feel othered, because at the end of the day, when I come to seventh or eighth period to your class, like my hair is frizzy, like I have no control over that. And like, I think every person who is mixed with black or black has gone through that journey of trying to figure out what to do with your hair. And it's just so sad that in today's world and in today's society, and even in Trinidad and Tobago, where we celebrate on the marketing side of things, that we are a melting pot, where like a callaloo of like so many different things mixed together, that there is still so much underlying racism that exists. And what makes it worse is finding out years later, now as an adult, that products that I put in my hair to make it more tame, relaxers, they are specifically targeted to black women, And not just because they make the hair look more flat or whatever the case is, but these companies willing, they know that these products harm the reproductive systems of women. Like it could lead to ovarian cancer and like so many other health effects in the body, and they just don't care. And it's just so sad that we do so many things to keep up appearances on the outside to fit in, and it hurts us and it harms us so much on the inside. Not just our feelings, but our literal organs on the inside. So if you're doing something to fit in, that is costing you money, it's costing you time, it's costing you your health, it's time to like take a step back and like really evaluate if it's worth it. And I just know that it isn't anymore. And I've changed so much since I was that person. Like I barely wear makeup anymore. um my diet has completely changed. My lifestyle has completely changed. And yeah, it just feels like so much being in purpose. What we do here at the studio, like meeting you, getting into breath work, and all of the wellness activities that we offer as well. Like, you don't need that relaxer, girl. You just need to breathe.
Yeah, and on that note too, it's funny because coming from completely different backgrounds and all of that, it's like I don't know who could not love this hair first of all, but I can understand from a different lens of where I wore extensions because guess what, my hair is not like as full as I would love it to be or anything like that. So it's like we're constantly having these beauty standards shoved down our throats, and I mean, I lived in Hollywood, so I saw that like first and foremost. I definitely wore a lot more makeup. Like I really don't wear much anymore either. And it was one of those things where in order to kind of fit in, make money, I promoted
Yeah.
alcohol for a really long time, which is funny that I'm sober, but it's like, all of those kind of things, all of those roles, as I said before, where I feel like I've been acting my whole life, all of those roles, I was really good at doing them
Mm-hmm.
because I was a really, really good chameleon. And I know for sure that that comes out of sheer needing to feel safe because for a long time, I wasn't safe.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, being an only child, being an abused child, being like all of these things that also felt othered. Like when you brought that up, I also thought about my stage of my dorky glasses and braces and the whole
Oh
thing with the
my
frizzy
god.
hair and all of that, right? And so it's like people automatically will assume we are two pretty girls and like we must have just had like everything
Life
just
easy.
handed and so
Yeah.
easy. And it's like, one, even if you never had an awkward stage like I did, and you are the pretty girl, that does not mean that you had it any easier. If anything, you were an easier target.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Ah.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, just living to your true, authentic self, whatever that means to you. I feel like it's so funny that we're watching Stranger Things because we are a couple of strange, strange ones. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't want to be that person that just is going to fit in or subscribe or do anything because of anything. Usually it's the complete opposite for me. I definitely like to go with what's not as popular, what's not
Yeah.
as trending,
Mm-hmm.
It's just like whatever I like for myself is what I'm going to do. And if I'm not hurting anyone else, it's like I am going to be my weird self that I was shut down to so many times, that I was told like I was too much, too
Oh my
loud,
god.
too weird, too dramatic, too whatever, fill in the blanks. It's like, at this stage, it's like I'm not willing to be anything else than what I actually am. And
Yeah.
I am weird and I own that. I own the misfit.
I think misfits are the most interesting people that you can meet on this planet, because when you're told you're too much or too little or not enough, you internalize a lot. And when you think of like the great artists in the world, like those are some troubled souls. If anyone knows the hardships of life, it's those people. And those people who try to defy the systems that basically oppress them or made them feel othered.
Mhm.
And that's that's so empowering in its own way, right?
Hmm.
And that's why I love, again, what we do here at the pole point. For me specifically, like, dancing was always a thing, and like even that in Trinidad, I felt very othered in that space. Because picture this, go on this journey with me, right? You're basically training for the carnival season to perform, make some extra money, that sort of thing. And there is an audition. So you and your friend is like, yeah, we're gonna get this, we're gonna get this. And that those were such great times with my friend Akisha. Really, really appreciated those times. The great, great times. But yes, basically we went to the audition, killed it. The artist was there, chose us, and the director of the dance group that I was a part of wasn't there. But the artist himself chose me and my friend. And then on the day that was supposed to be his first performance, he we had like a dance class. So this was like a couple weeks later, and he holds another audition out of nowhere to find people to perform that night. And I was like, didn't the artist like choose me? Like, I already felt like it was targeted to me, and like there were things I was told behind the scenes that he said about me. um so I knew it was like he was trying to replace me. And then I was like, I got this, was killing the routine. And literally one of the other girls who was auditioning, she like broke, or like she like went down hard on her ankle. And like everybody had to stop, like we had to call the ambulance and that sort of thing. And it's like, it's so crazy that somebody wouldn't want to choose me so badly, even though like the artist already did that. Like, you held this audition and then this terrible thing happened to somebody, and then like that person had to tuck their tails between their legs and basically ask me and my friend anyway to do the performance. So it's like, for what? For what? Why can't we just allow people to be who they are? And to go fully there, basically what I was told is that this person didn't want me to perform because they saw me more as being cute than being sexy. And I'm just like, that's the dumbest shit ever. That's the dumbest shit ever. Dancing and performing should be about talent. And I think if the artist chose me, that says enough. There was no need to have a separate audition on the day of to find somebody else. So yeah, that's just one story in the books of just I guess what happens when people don't appreciate you for who you are, and how it could just have negative consequences that no one could have seen coming. So please, if you are a misfit, stay true to yourself. And if you are not a misfit, just allow people to be who they are and don't fight them, you know? Let's all like make this world a little bit easier to navigate, because it's really hard. And again, I really wanted to bring this up. Like, being a woman in itself is such a misfit when you work in industries that are run by men. Who is a man to tell me that I'm cute, not sexy?
A dumb one, but as most men are. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of those, exactly what you said about let people be who they are. Kids are going to show you. Your personality is kind of formed between 3 and 7. And so, I think back, I do have memories, thankfully, some of them, a lot that I've forgotten, but there's still some there where it's like, I was just this really funny kid. I was just this really sweet kid, where I just honestly could entertain myself. But I have repeated a lot this year, I'm not here for people's entertainment anymore. You mentioned about the interesting. I've been told I'm interesting. I know that I'm interesting. I mean, look at me. I'm living in the Caribbean, and just it's not, I'm not following the path that necessarily was laid before me. I'm creating my own path, and that
Mm-hmm.
is what misfits do. And I feel, again, yeah, like you said, they're the artists, they're the innovators, they're the leaders. We both are obviously leaders in our own right. And, in a way where it's coming from a very purposeful, passionate, loving place, not in a place of ego or, everybody follow what I'm doing. Actually, don't, please. Like, do your own thing. Like, I don't like it when people do the following thing. It's
Yeah.
just,
But let's
honestly,
do our own thing together as a collective and like support each other and show up for each other. And you'll find people when you do start to gather in these groups, it's like, oh, I think what you're doing is really cool. And you may think what I'm doing is really cool. And like we can help each other grow. And I think it's time for the misfits to grow. Like we need that community in order to thrive. We're not going to get it from the people who are shutting us down after auditions, like we're not going to get it from those people. So let's
it's
actually.
about creating it. And yeah, again, like, everyone has something completely different to bring.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was meant to shine, they weren't meant to just kind of follow the herd. Everyone has unique gifts that they naturally have or that they can develop, and everybody has different passions. And I think that's like what the coolest thing is allowing everyone to let their individual uniqueness, weirdness, strangeness, whatever you want to call it, ness, just be what it is and flourish. And then, yeah, like when you find other people that don't necessarily have to be specifically like minded in that way, but they are just willing to do the brave thing, take that mask off because it's not Halloween, be themselves. That's when it really does allow for other people to follow suit in that way for their own selves.
Yeah.
It's much easier when you see somebody modeling, like, hey, you can actually be exactly who you are. You don't need to subscribe to what, social media or anybody else is telling you is the cool, the right, the whatever thing to do. But like the fact that it's been in you all along, like going back to being kids, like
Yeah.
literally just do that and be you and make it be a misfit, like make it be whatever it is. There is no specific way that you have to be. You just have to be you. And
Yourself.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so being a woman, a misfit, um I also feel like there are feelings that we feel as misfits that tell us so much about ourselves if we allow it to. If you feel invisible, if you feel like your voice isn't heard, I know that used to trigger me for a while, feeling invisible. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
And then I basically got myself to a point where I was financially stable to make my own table, and I was very strategic about it. And now, yeah, we're at that point where we're like, the table is here, guys. Let's all eat at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on over while it's still hot, while it's
Yeah.
still here.
Come on over while it's still hot, while it's still here. We got that 222 deal until December 31st, until New Year's, actually. So if you are going to be in Tobago, if you live in Tobago, definitely check that out. $222 for 5 classes and a discovery call with certified life coach
And
Angie
misfit.
and Misfit. Yeah, so we all we didn't even talk about the most misfit of all, especially here in the Caribbean, which is being queer.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. Being queer in the Caribbean is hard. Doing it openly is brave and courageous, and pushing past the norm to get us to a more comfortable, tolerable state in society is like even harder. So where do we begin? Right? As queer people, we need to find safety.
first and foremost. For us, we don't always find it in our families. um, this country is very much built on religion, specifically Christianity, and that is very intertwined with our laws. And that makes things even more tricky for us. So, how can we navigate that? I think a big part of that comes with being educated. Um, not everyone wants to become educated, and you don't need to go to a prestigious school to become educated. Do your research. We also need to be allies for one another, not necessarily just for being queer, but just allies in general. If you have a friend who has a small business, support that business. If you know other friends who would be interested in what they do, send them their way. And specifically when it comes to being an ally for like queer people, like just be there. I think that's the most important thing. Just be there for your
And
people.
allow them to be there for themselves the way that they want to be. Essentially, that's what it is again. Like going back to the Misfits, going back to anything else. Like, let's stop trying to change people. Let's like let everyone be who they are, because that's where people will shine. Happiness will be there. A lot less stress,
Yeah.
a lot less of any of that stuff. No drama, no gossip. Like all of that stuff is just so toxic, and such a waste of energy. Like we have this like precious energy and only a certain amount of it, and we decide to waste it on trying to control and change other people. And in that, controlling ourselves from being our real selves, because again, we're just so caught up in, it's like the whole like keeping up with the Joneses. It's like we got this from, our parents and then their parents. It's always been about being impressive, whether that's you don't have money but you act like you do, or whatever it is, talking a certain way, going to certain places to be seen at a certain way, rather than just like that's who you are. And you're a girl and you don't want to wear a dress to like a function that your whole family wants you to wear a dress, don't wear the dress.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, just like allow yourself to just be in your most comfortable state. I know, as I said, like the definition in the beginning, and it had about the uncomfortable. I've had to be uncomfortable for so long to make other people feel comfortable that
Mm-hmm.
I'm now like flipping that. I'm in
Yeah.
my state of I am going to be so comfortable and just being me, that if other people, and I've already seen this where they have dropped like flies, if that is a discomfort to them, like no problem, I wish you well, I wish you healing, there's the door, I am not going to suffer anymore to make you feel comfortable.
Yeah, if you're a misfit, please just be a misfit. Please
Yeah,
don't
be
give
happy.
a fuck about what anybody else says, because you can't keep putting yourself on fire to make other people feel warm. Let them find their own source of warmth. That's not your responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a great place to start for the
Yeah,
misfits.
I
And
think it
again, if
is.
you're here in Tobago, check us out.
Well, and I'm really glad that your misfits with my misfit. Like we misfit
Yeah,
like a perfect puzzle
yeah,
piece.
we do.
Yeah. And she said yes. Ah! Yeah.
Yeah. We're
We're
betrothed.
betrothed. We're betrothed misfits.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, our whole mission, our whole purpose, obviously we want to reach near and far, but we would love it if you are actually here in the area to come experience what it actually means to be in a safe space where you fit. No
Yeah.
matter where on this spectrum you are, like you definitely fit here. You get
Yeah.
to be yourself. You get to do the healthiest thing for your mind, body, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, yeah, like what a special thing to be able to just kind of walk into a space and know
Feel
that
like you
you
belong.
feel like you belong. Like again, you don't need that mask, you don't need anything but you, like literally you, what you
No
have inside already, no
judgments.
judgment.
Just love. Just
Yeah.
um as one of our students says, just a lot of you've got this when things seem hard, and You're gonna propel your mind and body to places that you may not even thought was possible. And that's such a beautiful thing. That's all we really want for you. We want you to go places that you didn't even think you could. Because you can, it's already in you. We just want to bring that out so you can see it and you can share that with whoever you want to share that with. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the amount of people that told you you were too big, too dramatic, too this, too that, it's because you're too special, because you are. You're unique, you're you, there's no one else like you, and that is what is the coolest thing. You will have haters for that, sadly, but that's where on the other end we're trying to provide that actual community support, love, and just acceptance.
Yeah. Let your light shine, baby. Shine bright like a
Yeah.
diamond.
So again, if this continues to be a challenging time for you as the end of the year and the wrapping up of the snake season and the shedding and everything, allow it to happen. Allow yourself to have those uncomfortable kind of days, conversations, whatever it is, it's for your higher and better self and purpose. Um, so if it includes you just being you, then you're doing the right thing. And don't
Mm-hmm.
worry about how many people are joining you in that or not. Misfits have a way of finding each other.
Yeah.
So,
So we're gonna find you. And we
yeah.
gonna love you. I hope you all have a wonderful end of the holidays and an amazing 2026.
Hope to see you in studio.
Yeah. And keep on taking great care of yourself.
Bye.
Bye.